Chapter 3. Egypt's Divine Order. How did pharaohs create the template for top-down rule? Power in Sumer was an ascent. Power in Egypt became a horizon. Where the Sumerians fused priest and king, the Egyptians perfected the fusion. They did not simply claim their rulers stood near the gods. They declared their rulers were gods, living, breathing embodiments of cosmic order. And once a ruler becomes divine, the hierarchy below him calcifies into something immovable, eternal, and unquestioned. Egypt was the first civilization to build a political system on the idea of eternity. That single idea created a template for top-down rules so enduring that pieces of it remain embedded in modern governments, corporations, armies, and ideologies today. To understand why, travel back to a morning on the Nile 4,500 years ago. The sun rises not gradually but theatrically, igniting the river in molten gold. The capital, Memphis, is awake before its rays touch the palace limestone. Thousands already line the causeway of the God King. They have come not to witness a coronation, but a renewal. Every morning the pharaoh reenacts the sunrise ritual. His appearance is not a display of power. It is the maintenance of the universe. He emerges in white linen, the crown shaped like a cobra ready to strike. The uraeus, the serpent symbol, is not an ornament. It is a warning. Anyone who challenges him challenges the very stability of the cosmos. In Sumer, the priest-king mediated between heaven and earth. In Egypt, the pharaoh replaced the mediator altogether. There is no bridge. There is only the apex. This shift, subtle in concept, colossal in consequence, laid the foundation for the world's most enduring top-down hierarchy. To understand why Egypt's system lasted for 3,000 years, you must understand the Egyptian worldview. To the Egyptians, the universe was not naturally stable. It was naturally chaotic. Darkness, disorder, and destruction threatened at every moment to devour the world. The only force preventing collapse was Ma'at, the cosmic order, balance, harmony, rightness. And who embodied Ma'at? Who kept the sun rising, the seasons aligned, the floods predictable, and the gods satisfied? Only one man, the pharaoh. This belief created a psychological equation that became the backbone of Egyptian civilization. Order equals pharaoh. Pharaoh equals order. Remove him, and the Nile stops its cycle. Remove him, and the world becomes darkness again. Fear did not sustain Egypt. Cosmic responsibility did. This was power elevated to metaphysics. But the brilliance of Egypt's model was not only in making the ruler divine. It was in carving an entire society into carefully engineered layers beneath him. Each layer with just enough power to function, but never enough power to threaten. At the top sat the pharaoh. Below him, the royal family. Below them, the viziers, prime ministers of the ancient world. Below them, the high priests. Below them, the scribes. Below them, the craftsmen and soldiers. At the bottom, the laborers and farmers. This was the world's first perfected hierarchy, not simply social, but sacred. Every role had divine justification. Every layer had cosmic relevance. A farmer did not see himself as poor. He saw himself as part of the same celestial machinery that made the sun rise. The structure was stable because it was spiritual. This is the third great truth of power. Hierarchy becomes unbreakable when every layer believes it is sacred. The pharaoh's power was not enforced with iron. It was enforced with ritual. Every year he performed the Hebsed festival, a breathtaking ritual of renewal. After years of rule, the pharaoh ran a ceremonial race inside the temple complex. The race was symbolic. It proved his strength to continue ruling. If he staggered, it meant Egypt's protector was weakening. If he fell, it meant divine misalignment. Egyptians believed their ruler's physical vigor was directly tied to the nation's destiny. So the ritual did more than strengthen loyalty. It rewired psychology. The people did not obey the pharaoh because they feared him. They obeyed him because they feared what would happen without him. This distinction is the dividing line between authoritarian rule and divine rule. Fear of the ruler can spark rebellion. Fear of collapse cements obedience. Egypt mastered the second, but there was another layer beneath the rituals. One often overlooked, yet more powerful than the pyramids themselves. The priesthood. In Sumer, the priest-king presided over a temple economy. In Egypt, the temples became a parallel state. Priests controlled land, wealth, grain, medicine, education, and archives. They advised the pharaoh but also monitored him. They read omens, interpreted dreams, and controlled the stories the nation believed. The relationship between pharaoh and priest was the earliest recorded power-sharing arrangement, the prototype for every monarchy-church alliance to come. The pharaoh ruled through divinity. The priests ruled through knowledge. Together they formed the first two layers of a power pyramid that would echo throughout history. Symbolic authority at the top, operational authority just beneath. The modern world inherited this structure. Presidents and prime ministers sit at the symbolic apex. Corporations, bureaucracies, intelligence agencies, and technocrats operate the machinery beneath them. The architecture is Egyptian in its bones. If the priesthood was the hidden engine, the pyramids were the ultimate symbol. At first glance, a pyramid is a tomb, but its true function was psychological. It is a mountain shaped by human hands, an impossible achievement that legitimized the pharaoh's divine status. The message was unmistakable. Only a god could command such a feat. Only a god could be worthy of resting inside it. The pyramid was propaganda in stone. It told the people their ruler was eternal. It told rivals rebellion was futile. It told the world Egypt's apex was unshakable. No structure in history has ever communicated power with such permanence. And yet, the brilliance of the pyramid is not in its size. It is in its geometry. A narrow top, a broad base, layers so compacted that each depends on the one beneath. It is a perfect metaphor for centralized rule. Today, organizational charts draw the same shape. Nations follow the same pattern. Corporations reflect the same hierarchy. Even digital platforms, teeming with billions of users, form influence pyramids whose peaks concentrate in the hands of a few. Egypt gave civilization not just monuments, but models. So how did this divine hierarchy survive almost unchanged for millennia? Because Egypt discovered two things. First, that power becomes invulnerable when clothed in the sacred. Second, that stability is more addictive than freedom. Egypt did not engineer obedience through tyranny. It engineered obedience through belief. The pharaoh was not simply king. He was the guarantor of cosmic balance. The priests were not simply administrators. They were interpreters of truth. Even the scribes, carving lines of hieroglyphs, believed their work maintained universal order. Egypt built a society where rebellion felt like blasphemy. And this is why the Egyptian model endured long after the last pharaoh died. Its architecture survived inside empires, religions, and modern states. Its principles echo in leadership cults, corporate hierarchies, and national mythologies. The template still shapes the world. As we leave Egypt and move toward Babylon and Rome, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Every civilization after Egypt did not invent hierarchy. They refined a blueprint set in stone beside the Nile. Power organizes itself, and Egypt showed humanity exactly how. The next chapter reveals how Babylon turned that blueprint into an empire of law, wealth, and lasting influence.